theory, becoming a thought leader is easy. You just need to be a leader who has thoughts. Okay, maybe it's a bit more nuanced than that, but it really is crucial to have opinions. A little while ago, I found myself wanting to write again and put my thoughts out there as it relates to my industry. But then I realized something scary. I didn't have any opinions. No hot takes, no spicy perspectives, no content fodder. And it wasn't because I wasn't capable of having any. I simply wasn't giving myself anything to have an opinion on. So what did I do? I started consuming media on the topics that I wanted to be knowledgeable about and engage in. And naturally, after learning about what's going on in the world and other people's perspectives on things related to marketing, advertising, media, etc., I started coming up with my own takes on things. Things I agree with, disagree with, want to add on to, etc. Since doing this, I've grown a seemingly never-ending list of things I want to talk about. But I'm not just stopping there. No. I'm actively putting these thoughts out into the world and contributing to conversations, thus growing my personal brand. And if you're a creator or a business owner, it's important that you do the same. One of the reasons why your brand isn't as memorable as you want it to be is because it doesn't have a take. It's not saying anything. Let me reel it back in for a minute. To clarify, what I mean is that your brand may be saying something, but it may not be saying something meaningful or something that has impact. Or your messaging is at its core meaningful, but the way it's packaged and put out into the world isn't having as big as an effect as it could be. Let's take a look at two examples. In 2024, Nike released a campaign to build hype for the Olympics. They called it "Winning Isn't for Everyone." Now, before you start hyping furiously, I think it was successful for a few reasons. One, at first glance, it sounds pretty controversial. What do you mean winning isn't for everyone? Especially in this time where the push for inclusivity and diversity has gotten stronger and stronger. That's a fair argument, but once you actually watch and analyze the videos in the campaign, it's clear that they're not excluding anybody on account of physical attributes. On the contrary, the campaign is full of diversity in a way that doesn't feel performative or forced. They are instead uplifting the athletes that they're showcasing by making it clear that it takes a very specific kind of person, character-wise, to win, and that not everyone understands the pressures that come with even being a winner. I have a whole video on this that I made as an assignment in college, so if you're interested in seeing it, let me know in the comments. Now I want to show you an example of a time when a brand made a very bold statement, maybe not in the best way possible. You'll see what I mean. You may or may not have heard about it, but American Eagle's Great Jeans Summer-Fall 2025 campaign sparked a lot of controversy. The ad features actress Sydney Sweeney next to the words, "Sydney Sweeney has great jeans," which, if you didn't catch that, is a play on words. Jeans as in G-E-N-E-S and jeans as in J-E-A-N-S. Now you may be asking, what's the issue? Well, the fact that the actress is blonde-haired and blue-eyed, plus the history of the idea of having good genes and what that means, a lot of people were not happy, to say the least. Now, if the brand was aware of the dark meaning that could possibly have, I cannot say. I do not know. However, the point is that even though this was a very controversial statement or take, it got people talking and it likely won't be forgotten. So what should you do to develop an opinion or a hot take as a creator or a brand? First, get clear on what it is that you do. What industry or niche are you in? What is your mission statement? If you're a brand, why do you exist? If you're a creator, why do you make content? Next, get an understanding of what kind of discussions are being had in that space and what the culture is like. This will get your critical thinking going. Finally, come up with a genuinely unique take or position. Now, I say genuinely because we want to be authentic. Don't come up with something crazy or offensive or controversial and say you believe it just so you can be memorable. No. We want our statements or our opinions to genuinely reflect what we as creators or brands believe. And remember, unique doesn't always have to mean completely original. You can voice things that others simply aren't saying, or build off of an idea that already exists. You don't have to reinvent the wheel to build a memorable online presence. And speaking of reinventing the wheel, you shouldn't have to do that every time you want to post content. That's how you burn out. So head on over to this video because I'm going to share with you one of my favorite content strategies for building an online presence sustainably. I'll see you there.